Have you ever felt like she's emotionally attached, but you've barely given her anything real? Welcome to Dark Love Psychology. That's no accident. It's called breadcrumbing, a psychological tactic where you give just enough emotional attention to keep her hooked, but never enough to fully commit. Today, I'll break down how breadcrumbing works, why it's so effective, and the psychological triggers behind it. By the end of this video, you'll understand the strategy and how to use or defend against it. Chapter 1. What is breadcrumbing? In the complex world of modern relationships, there's a behavior that can leave you feeling confused, hopeful, and ultimately emotionally drained. It's a subtle pattern, often hard to pin down, but its effects are very real. We call it breadcrumbing. At its core, breadcrumbing is the act of giving someone just enough attention to keep their interest alive, but never enough to form a real, committed relationship. It's a cycle of sporadic engagement, followed by periods of silence, designed to keep you on the hook without any genuine emotional investment from the other person. Imagine the classic fairy tale of Hansel and Gretel. They left a trail of breadcrumbs to find their way home. In dating, the breadcrumber leaves a similar trail, but it doesn't lead anywhere meaningful. Instead, these crumbs, these little emotional rewards, are designed to make you follow, to keep you emotionally attached and perpetually waiting for the next piece. It's a trail of maybes and almosts, leading you in circles. So what do these crumbs look like in practice? They are often digital and always low effort. It could be a text message that pops up once every few days, often late at night, with something sweet or playful like, "Hey, I was just thinking about your smile." It might be a sudden like on a social media post from weeks ago, or a quick generic fire emoji reaction to your story. When you receive one of these crumbs, the effect is immediate. You feel a rush of validation, a spark of hope. She replies instantly, feeling special and remembered. That brief message makes her think, "Oh, they are still interested. Maybe this time it will be different." This is the power of the crumb. It's a small, calculated dose of attention that triggers a disproportionately large emotional response. But here is the crucial part of the pattern. After dropping the crumb, the breadcrumber often disappears again. Your enthusiastic reply might be met with a short, non-committal answer. Or worse, complete silence for days or even weeks. The man smirks, puts his phone face down, and walks away, leaving the conversation, and her hopes, hanging. She ends up craving more of that tiny bit of attention, stuck in a cycle of anticipation and disappointment. This isn't just frustrating, it's psychologically potent. This pattern taps into a principle known as intermittent reinforcement. It's the same mechanism that makes slot machines so addictive. You don't know when the next reward will come, but the possibility that it come at any moment keeps you pulling the lever, or in this case, checking your phone. The breadcrumber, whether consciously or not, is conditioning you to wait for their unpredictable rewards. They maintain all the power, offering just enough to prevent you from moving on, but never enough to build something real. Understanding this dynamic is the first step to breaking free. Chapter 2. The psychology behind breadcrumbing. Why does this work so well? Because breadcrumbing uses powerful psychological triggers. Intermittent reinforcement. When rewards are unpredictable, they're more addictive. Dopamine loops. Small emotional hits create craving, not satisfaction. Unresolved tension. The lack of closure makes the mind obsessed. Example, it's like a slot machine. If you got the reward every time, you'd get bored. But when it's random, your brain keeps chasing the high. Chapter 3. The anatomy of a breadcrumb. To truly understand breadcrumbing, we need to move beyond the simple idea of infrequent texting. At its core, this is a sophisticated, often subconscious strategy of managing distance and presence. It's about giving just enough attention to keep someone's interest alive, but never enough for a real connection to flourish. The breadcrumber creates a carefully controlled emotional landscape for the other person, one filled with peaks of hope and long valleys of uncertainty. This isn't about being busy. It's about calculated emotional manipulation that keeps you perpetually waiting for the next morsel of attention. Let's dissect the most common tactics they use to maintain this delicate and often cruel balance. First, the precisely timed compliment. This isn't a spontaneous expression of admiration. It's a strategic deposit into your emotional bank account. The breadcrumber will drop a line like, "I was just thinking about how funny you are," or "That color looks incredible on you," at the exact moment they sense you might be losing interest or pulling away. It's a low-effort, high-impact maneuver designed to do one thing: remind you that they are, in fact, into you. This single text can erase days or even weeks of silence, reigniting your hope and making you question your own judgment, forever doubting their intentions. It's a powerful tool for re-engagement, a quick fix that costs them nothing but keeps you invested. Second, the late-night check-in, the classic "you up?" or "thinking of you" text that arrives long after the sun has set. These messages are particularly insidious because they hijack the intimacy of the late-night hours. It feels personal, private, and exclusive. You might be lying in bed, and their name popping up on your screen creates a false sense of being on their mind in a meaningful way. But the context is everything. These messages are rarely followed by a morning text or a plan to meet. They are a symptom of the breadcrumber's own boredom or loneliness, using you for a fleeting moment of connection on their terms, with no intention of extending that connection into the light of day. It's access without responsibility. Third, the art of ambiguity. This is perhaps the most defining feature of breadcrumbing. They master the use of flirty but completely non-committal language. Phrases like "we should hang out sometime" are the hallmark of this tactic. Notice the lack of a specific day or activity. It creates the illusion of a future plan while committing them to absolutely nothing. They might say, "You're amazing," but the statement hangs in the air, undefined. Amazing how? As a friend? As a potential partner? This vagueness is intentional. It forces you to fill in the blanks with your own hopes and desires, making you an active participant in your own deception. You're left constantly guessing, analyzing, and wondering where you stand, because they have built a relationship based on potential, not reality. And finally, the social media microdose. In the digital age, this is the breadcrumber's playground. It's the ultimate form of low-effort, high-visibility attention. Liking a photo from 3 weeks ago, a quick emoji reaction to your story, watching every single one of your updates without ever saying a word. Each of these actions is a tiny digital breadcrumb. It takes them less than a second, but for you, it's a notification. A sign that they're there, watching, thinking of you. It triggers a small dopamine hit, a micro-interaction that creates a feeling of connection without any of the substance. They are staying on your radar, keeping their name in your notifications, and ensuring you don't forget about them, all without having to engage in a single meaningful conversation. It's the ghost in the machine, a constant, passive presence that keeps you tethered. Chapter 4. The dependency. How it creates emotional dependency. This is perhaps the most insidious aspect of breadcrumbing. It's not just about disappointment or frustration. It's about a slow, creeping erosion of your emotional autonomy. It's a process where your sense of self-worth and emotional stability become dangerously tethered to the inconsistent attention of someone who isn't truly present. You find yourself needing their validation to feel good, a dependency forged not from love or connection, but from calculated scarcity. Let's break down the psychological mechanics of how this happens. When breadcrumbing is done consistently, it can create deep emotional dependency, even without any real relationship. The psychological principle at play here is called intermittent reinforcement. Think of it like a slot machine. You pull the lever, not knowing if you'll win. Most of the time, you get nothing. But every now and then, you get a small payout. That unpredictable reward is what keeps you playing. The breadcrumber's texts and fleeting moments of attention are those small payouts. Your brain's reward system, fueled by the neurotransmitter dopamine, doesn't just respond to the reward itself, but to the of it. The uncertainty, the will they or won't they text, creates a powerful addictive dopamine loop that keeps you hooked and waiting for the next hit. She becomes addicted to your small doses of attention. She starts imagining a future that doesn't exist. She invests emotionally, while you keep your distance. This is the great imbalance of breadcrumbing. For her, each crumb is a building block for a fantasy. A simple, thinking of you text isn't just a text, it's evidence. It's proof that there's something real, something worth holding on to. Her mind fills in the vast gaps you leave behind, constructing elaborate scenarios and a detailed portrait of a person you've never shown yourself to be. She's not in a relationship with you, but with the potential of you. Meanwhile, for you, it's a low-effort way to keep an option open, an ego boost on a Tuesday night. You remain emotionally insulated, protected by the very distance you create. Example: she tells her friends about you, even though nothing concrete has happened. She might say things like, "We have this incredible connection," or "He's just really busy right now, but he always reaches out." She becomes a spokesperson for a relationship that exists only in her mind, defending your absences and interpreting your crumbs as grand gestures. Her friends may see the red flags, but she's too invested in the narrative she's built to see it clearly. She waits for your texts, even cancels plans hoping you'll call. Her social calendar starts to revolve around your potential availability. She'll turn down definite plans with friends for the slim possibility of a last-minute invitation from you. Her phone is never far from her hand, her body tense with anticipation. Every notification sound brings a jolt of hope, quickly followed by disappointment when it's not from you. This constant state of waiting puts her life on hold, preventing her from being present in her own reality and from pursuing connections with people who would offer her consistency and genuine interest. That's the power of emotional breadcrumbs. They are just enough to sustain hope, but never enough to provide real nourishment. This dependency keeps the recipient in a state of emotional starvation, grateful for the smallest morsel of attention because it's better than the perceived nothingness. It's a cruel illusion of connection that benefits only one person, leaving the other trapped in a cycle of waiting and wanting.
Chapter 5. The ethical line and protection. Now let's be real. Breadcrumbing can be manipulative. It creates emotional investment without offering honesty or clarity. If you're using it intentionally, understand the impact. Don't break hearts just to feed your ego. If you're on the receiving end, learn to recognize breadcrumbs and not confuse them with love. Example: someone who wants you won't just give you crumbs, they'll offer the whole meal. Breadcrumbing is about controlled attention. It works because it activates powerful psychological triggers. But power without awareness can turn into manipulation. If you want to be emotionally powerful, lead with clarity, not confusion. If you found this breakdown helpful, like this video, subscribe, and hit the bell. Comment below. Have you ever experienced breadcrumbing or done it yourself? Thanks for watching until the end. See you in the next video.